Hey everybody, Kevin O'Gill here from Huts Kickboxing. So today we're going to go over the jab. So the jab is the leading strike, especially for boxers and for kickboxers, but it's more to set the pace against the other opponent, meaning that they're trying to find the range. And when you do the jab, the range is important when you're hitting the bag too as well, because a lot of people overextend their arm and hurt themselves, lock out their elbow. If you got shoulder pain, you got elbow pain, a lot of people tend to overextend or lock out their arm too much. So when you do the jab, you never want to bend your wrist when you punch. Never do this. This is not a good jab. Because if you look at it, what happens is that my shoulder and my wrist have to be aligned with each other. Has to be straight on. If you're punching like this and your elbow's bent, and you're doing this, you look like a praying mantis or a rabbit punching. It's not good. You're going to end up hurting yourself. Okay? And the biggest thing is why people, have a hard time continuing sometimes with fitness kickboxing is they get injured and sore because they're not having good alignment, right? I'm going to always talk about making sure you have a good stance, right? You always got to make sure that your proper stance is you have 1 foot forward, your knees are bent, right, and your hands are up to protect yourself, right? But when people throw the jab, a lot of people throw a jab like this. Just throw it low. You should always throw a jab with your other hand up and making sure it's up towards your ear. So your shoulder, if you watch me, your shoulder should be tucked into your ear, right, when you punch. And the reason why that is that you don't want to have the other person punch on the inside of you. Because if you punch out here with a jab, the person has that opening, they're going to strike back. So you want to make sure you're really tight with that, right? But we've noticed that a lot of times, a lot of people want to just do punching like this. I always like to do, when I do my jab, I always like to make sure I punch to the height of my head. That's what I want. Because a jab is a quick coil. It's a quick punch. You don't elongate it like that. That creates injury. So when you throw the jab, you want to make sure it's in and snap it back. Snap it back. You move it around, snap, okay? But if you notice, I'm bent a little bit. My shoulders are up a little bit. And I want to make sure I have that jab up towards my ear, right? I also want to rotate watch my hip. So if I'm punching here, I want to make sure I rotate a little bit. I'm not punching away. I'm just turning a little bit. And then a lot of it comes from my hips. So when you're doing the jab, make sure you're up high. Don't punch down low. Keep it up from here. Okay? Keep it up towards your ear. I want to make sure that I have a straight on punch. Again, don't bend your wrist. And don't be afraid to hit the bag. Now, I'm going to tell you something though. If you punch with your hands open, and then some of you do, if you have nails, if you have long inch nails, I'm going to be upfront with you, that could be a tricky thing. You could really injure yourself. So try not to have too long of nails when you're doing it, especially those fake acrylic nails. Sometimes not very good. You have to be careful with that. But a lot of people, they don't close their fist enough on the jab, right? They keep their hand open. I always tell my students in martial arts side, open fingers are broken fingers. So you want to close, make sure your fists are closed when you jab. Make sure you're jabbing from there. And notice how my posture is up. I'm not jabbing like this. This is great, but I want to get my shoulders, tone up my shoulders and so forth, and my upper body with the jab to make sure when I'm punching. So make sure you're always keeping your head up from there. Now, with the jab, it's a snap. And there's two ways to punch, really, okay? You can snap it, you can thrust it. I don't recommend, if you're doing the kickboxing moves on the Wave Master, to thrust it out there. Jab. Put power behind it. Jab it and snap it back. So when you punch, you should always be replacing your hand to protect yourself. You're moving around. If I jab, my shoulders crunch up to my ear, and I hit from there. Okay, but I have to make sure I can't be standing like this and punching. You're never gonna the 2-minute workout that you're trying to do won't last. You got to make sure that your body's in unison with your punch. Like I start from my foot all the way down to my leg, come up to my body. So when everything is settled in, my knees are bent, I throw that jab, my whole body's behind it. I'm not doing this. I'm not spreading my feet out trying to punch. Okay? That jab has to be in. It's going to be quick. Pop it and bring it back, right? Because then if I do that cross, I'm in there. Because the jab sets up the space for the boxer or the kickboxer. So with the jab, you should always work on it speed-wise. And I'll talk about the cross in another class. The cross is really for that big power strike. You're not snapping back the cross. The jab you snap back so you can throw the cross, right? So the jab is more of a speed. Now, I'm going to tell you, with gloves, 3 styles of gloves. We got 12 ounce, 14, 16 ounce gloves, okay? The 12 ounce is for, when you first start off. I suggest after 3 months, upgrade to 14. Okay, create a little bit more resistance, create a little bit more. 16, probably 6 months to a year down the road for more strength and more core building, right? Those are the 3 levels of that. If you have the 12, okay, you really should be working on your speed, not so much your power. You can still do power, but you want to really work that jab. So when you're doing that, like the first move that we do is the jab cross, right? When you're doing it, make sure you snap out that jab. Turn my hip. Shrug that shoulder. Don't bend the wrist. Bending your wrist, so bad for your wrist. Again, you gotta have your shoulder aligned with your wrist. Super, super important. Okay? So when we're doing it, so when we have this jab, we're not trying to do the praying mantis or the rabbit punching, which I know we do. Make sure you close your fist inside your glove. Okay? The jab's all about speed, right? You're not looking for so much power with the jab. Jab's not for power. It's more for the speed aspect, right? Making sure you have a good knees bent, okay? I'm going to tell you something. Don't be afraid to hit the bag. These gloves and this Wave Master together, you very rarely, the only way you're really getting, if you get hurt, is that either one, it's not proper alignment of your body, your mechanics is a little off. That's why watching this video, okay, you really want to make sure that you're always staying in tight. Don't have your arms way out here. Don't even have your arms down here and start punching. Like this, it's not natural for your arms or your wrists to do this. This is more natural because if you look, if I'm punching like this, am I aligned with my shoulder? No. So now I'm putting more stress on my shoulder to compensate for the low range of my strike, of my jab. I want to be jabbing with my hand and my shoulder aligned, tucking my ear into my shoulder from here. Okay? All day long, I want to be able to do that. Jab. Notice how I replace my hand when I punch. When I come back here, I bring it back to my ear, then I punch. Okay? The jab, again, it's snapping out there. I mean, there's 2 ways, like I said before, to throw the punch, right? But for the jab, it's more of a snap. You want to snap it. And then the cross would be the power. Okay? Also, don't just stay right hand dominant when you jab. If you're a right-handed person, okay, that's great. Like I'm a lefty, and the martial arts I took was mainly for right-handed people, but it made my left already great, but it made my right hand even better because I had that mentality of making sure I do my left and my right. Just don't stick to one side. So if they're making you do left jab in the class, make sure, same thing, do left jab. Right jab, if you're a lefty, do the right. It's good to know both sides. If you want to get a complete workout, mechanics has to be the key to it, right? And starting with the jab, okay, comes from the stance that you're in. Your feet is all wide. If you have one foot in front of the other, okay, that's not something that's going to help you out. You want to make sure that you have a good knee bent, your toes, your knees are over your toes, Your back's up straight, okay? When you're in that position from here, your hands have to be up. Remember, every time you have to keep your hands up, you're burning calories. Hands are down is not so much because this is natural. Your hands are naturally down. When you have to go up, you have to get there's two types of muscle systems, right? There's extensors and then there's flexors for muscles. When you're using the jab, you're doing both, extending and flexing. And when you have both muscles working together, you're going to burn more energy, more calories. Obviously, the goal is the tone and so forth. But the realization is that you want to make sure that your jab is really quick, okay? You want to be able to really pop it out there fast. Bring it out and bring it back as fast as you brought it out. And that's super important. You know, with the basics that I'm teaching about the jab, it's really important to, here's another thing too. When I started training in martial arts, I used to record myself to see how my form was. Well, now that we're at home right now, it's easy to record yourself. Or if you want to record yourself just looking at your jab, trying to perfect it. I mean, here's the thing: when you're in the fit boxing group, right? The fitness kickboxing group, or if you're in the martial arts, it doesn't matter. You're always looking for progress. If you don't see progress results, you're not gonna get much, right? But you have to put the effort into it. But if you videotape yourself on how to do the jab, okay, making sure you have good alignment, make sure your shoulders even with your elbow and your wrist and your fist, right? Closing that fist, just make sure you jab it and throw it back from there, okay? If you have any questions, let me know. Obviously, we're going to send this out through email and so forth. Send it out through email about the jab. If you have any questions on that? But again, just really basics. Good stance. Hands are up. When you jab, make sure your other hand is up. When you replace it, hand transfer is important, right? Shrug your shoulder in. Keep your shoulder, elbow, and wrist the same line. Don't be the praying mantis or the rabbit punching. Okay? You don't want that. Make sure you're locking it out from there. Okay? So this is a topic on the jab. Next week I'll have a different one. I hope everybody has a great day and look forward to seeing you guys on the next time. All right? Talk to you later, guys. Bye.